Hello and welcome to Leader Salon with me, Simon Wallfisch.
And with me, Edward Rushton.
Edward, how are you today?
I'm fine, thanks.
Where are you sitting right now in your...
In my music room in Switzerland, in a town called Herzogenbuchsee, which is actually a village.
And we're filming this at beginning of May during the lockdown. How's it going in Switzerland for you right now?
But I'm keeping sane by playing a lot, practicing a lot. I'm doing some leader as well because I have, luckily, I'm in a very privileged situation. I have a little concert hall in the cellar underneath this house.
As you do.
And so I sometimes go down to my cellar with a friend who is a singer, and we stay a long way apart from each other and wash our hands a lot. And we sing songs together and record them and put them on the,
I've seen some lovely videos on your YouTube channel. You're very lucky. I think the hardest thing for me is not to be with other musicians. Okay, so my wife is a musician, but we hardly get a chance to talk, let alone make any music together with all the kids and the craziness of all that. It's so nice to see you, Edward. We have been a duo partnership for 10 years now, this year.
We should have a 10-year party, shouldn't we?
Well, this could be it. This our little weekly digital leader salon that we're doing now can be to celebrate our 10 years of partnership.
Wait a minute. What are we doing here? We want to try and communicate something about what these songs are about to our audience. What we mean by song is a singer and a pianist getting together and interpreting these works that were mostly written between, say, around 1780 and the present day.
Yeah.
The greatest mass of the repertoire having been composed between, say, 1830 and 1930. It's a repertoire that we've been delving into, as you say, for about 10 years together. We've studied a great variety of different sorts of music and poetry, and we'd like to share some of our ideas, some of the songs that we love, and maybe go into a little bit of depth about what's in the songs and what makes them so special. Because we can't do concerts at the moment, and we can't talk to our audiences live in concerts, so at least we can maybe treat some individual songs like this and hope that there will be some interesting insights into them.
What I love so much about working with you, and what you've taught me so much, is to always be asking why. To not accept simply what's on the page, but look for the reason, try and unpick the decision-making process that the composer had, and when they finally settled on that chord in that way, underpinning that word at that moment. And all of that has to be thought about and discovered, and that's when you can really start to have a kind of empathy and get under the skin a little bit of the poetry and the music.
I sort of think about it like this. As a composer and a pianist, obviously my starting point is the music. So I sort of put myself in the velvet slippers of the composer and envisage him or her looking at volumes of poetry and imagine him or her kind of leaping at a certain poem, saying, I love this poem, I've got a really good gut feeling about this poem, it's going to make a great song. I'm inspired, and they write the song, and there's this sort of moment of connection between the poem and the music that happens at that moment. And then we've been given this, for over the centuries. This has been passed down from generation to generation, from music publisher to music publisher, and we've got these dots on the page. And that's what the composer has given us, that relationship between the music and the words. And we've got to reinvent that. Whenever we look at a song, we have to reimagine that creative process and do the same as interpreters. We get into the socks of the song and make them our own socks. When the audience is in a concert listening to us performing, say, a song by Brahms, my ideal is that they should have the feeling that this is actually happening for the first time at this moment, because we have got so well inside it that we're conjuring it up out of thin air just as the composer conjured it out of thin air when he or she wrote the music.
Edward, what are we going to be talking about today?
Well, we're going to be laughing about the song by Brahms called Verrat, and it's a ballad. A ballad is a poem that tells a story. So when a composer sets a ballad to music, he or she is also going to try and tell the story with sound. With the setting of the poem will illustrate what's happening in the poem, rather than just setting a scene or a mood or depicting some kind of sentiments. It will actually, the music will go along and illustrate what is happening in the story that's being told with the words. And then what happens is there's this guy who's come home a bit early from his tour. Let's say he was a soldier or a businessman in the 19th century, comes back early, and he can hear, he stands outside his house and he can hear noises that he wasn't expecting, and he sees his beloved opening the door from the inside and letting out another man and saying to him, "Come back again tomorrow, don't let me wait, my husband is away." And then what happens is that our hero catches up with the lover on the heath and murders him. And Brahms pulls out all the stops. It's like film music. So it's very colorful, it's very multicolored, technicolor, violent, it's ugly, it's full of contrasts, the quietest to the loudest. It's a roller coaster ride, and it's the sort of music that you wouldn't really imagine the aging Brahms to write. It's one of his very late songs, but you can still see him with his boyish humor, enjoying himself an awful lot with this very dark and rather superficial ballad. It's a lot of fun. It's just so much fun to play a Brahms song where you can just sort of sink your teeth into it and just go for it. It's brutal stuff, but it's fun. It's like the special effects guys in a Hollywood movie. They're doing the most revolting blood and guts, but they're having fun with it. And I think you can really hear Brahms doing this. I think it's an important thing to remember with songs like this. It's not serious.
No.
You know?
It's gleefully brutal. Would you give us a little bit of the fight?
So really, it's like a sword fight in Carmen or something. You can hear them clashing at each other.
At that point, then the sword has gone through this greaseball lover. He's fallen to the ground, and then we just have at the very end almost a chorale-like. Und als erschien der lichte Tag. And as the light of day came up, what did it find on the heath? A corpse lying in the flowers.
Yeah, but I think Brahms has put in a twist here, okay? So he's saying, the poem is saying there is a dead body lying there, and there's a false woman is feeling very sorry about it. But you can hear in the music that we also feel sorry about it. There's a lot of sadness in there from the murderer, from the original lover, the true lover, who's been forced to commit this brutal act because his girlfriend betrayed him. But you can still hear, it's not just, okay, done the honorable thing, now get on with life. It's like, I am going to suffer a lot from this as well. She's betrayed me, but I have also, through murdering her lover, have betrayed her, betrayed myself. I think you can hear that. It's very dark, the ending.
Well, Edward, it's so fun to get under the skin of this song again with you. And I think we should leave our listeners now to click onto this link that you're going to find here, where you can listen to the recording that we made of this song for Resonance Classics. And if you would like, you can also buy a CD. And we'll look forward to seeing you next week. Edward, stay safe and well in beautiful Switzerland.
You too, in beautiful Croydon.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.